111 Minute Gallery is proud to showcase the visionary work of Lady Mags. Her latest exhibition, Home, explores the idea that home exists within us all, regardless of our physical location. Joining Lady Mags for this show is an impressive lineup of local and internationally renowned street artists. 111 Minute Gallery invites you to come down on February 7th for the opening of Home. Experience the vibrant energy of graffiti culture meeting fine art, ultimately reminding us that true home resides in the heart. Go to 111minute.com/events for more info.
The restaurant really changed my life a lot. It brought so much to me. It brought so much that I want to give thanks to my mom and dad for what they gave me and what now I grew out of it. For one, I got to meet my wife, which is originally from a coworker here that asked me about, I'm looking, this gal wants, looking for a job because I know we need people. I go, oh, well, yeah, tell her, yeah, we need them.
That was Willy Vigil, one of 4 siblings who own and operate Puerto Alegre Mexican restaurant. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a podcast about artists, activists, and small businesses that make this city so special. In this episode, part 2 of 2, Willy is joined once again by his sisters Amparo and Pattye, as well as his brother Lorenzo. They conclude the story of their parents, the restaurant on Valencia, and how it all shaped their own lives. There are some tidbits about my own 25 years here in San Francisco in this one. Puerto was one of my first regular spots. I was lucky enough to discover it early in my time in the city. And because the place has meant so much to me over the years, this episode is very special for me. Here's the conclusion of my talk with the Vigil siblings. So, did you all mostly in your childhood and maybe going to school, you mentioned Mission High, but did you live in this building then for most of that, would you say?
No, we moved over here, I think.
No, but before Mission High, because I was still going to Marshall Annex.
Right.
Which is right on Cap in 16, which is our,
Well, you moved here, though.
I went to high school over here, okay, but I went to junior high over there.
And we went to junior high.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of
leaving.
Of 1 year at junior high, and then moving over here.
Correct.
I don't think it would be a proper podcast with San Francisco natives if we didn't. Maybe let's go around this way and say all the schools you went to.
So I went to Marshall. Marshall used to be 2 schools. It used to be Marshall on Cap, and then there was Marshall Annex on Mission, and so it was like an elementary, and then upper elementary.
Right.
They divided. So I went to both of those, and then I went to Horseman, and then I went to Mission when it was out at Poly.
Oh.
Over there, by
I don't know that
Stadium.
I know that story or that it's been on this podcast.
Mission was getting earthquake-proof, supposedly during that period. So all my years at high school were out there.
Okay.
At Mission, it used to be Poly, but they renamed it Mission.
Over on Lincoln or Frederick or whatever it is.
Yes, Frederick.
Right, yeah.
By
the park.
By Kezar Stadium.
Kezar Stadium.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And I'll just add this little piece.
Sure.
That was the first time I was ever bussed out of the Mission, because my life, I think all of ours were in the Mission, and that was the first time out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pattye?
Oh, I went to Cesar Chavez, which is on Folsom, but it wasn't Cesar Chavez then. It was called, it'll come to me later on, but they have changed it. So that was kind of like my kindergarten or pre-K years. And then I went to Marshall briefly, Star King, which is up and I was bused then. And I think that was there once I moved here, was when we were moved to Star King. And in middle school, and it was at the time it was junior high school. It wasn't middle school. It was just junior high school. It was during the time when they were starting to bus schools out, like kids out to other areas. So
Integration.
I was going to go to, I believe, Everett, but they had been bussed out to Francisco.
Oh, wait, that's,
Yeah, in the marina out.
Yeah.
Outside. North Beach. And
Freddy's
so,
sandwiches?
Oh my God.
Mustard. What mustard?
We still talk about those.
Fred's?
And my mother was like, well, I'd rather have her there because I'm familiar with the teachers. I'm familiar with,
Right.
and so that was mine. And then I went to Mission.
Mission High?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank
We
you,
went to Mission
Lorenzo.
over here.
Yeah, when it was back over here.
Got it. After the earthquake?
After they proved
Retro.
it.
Right.
It's kind of almost similar. Me and him are almost similar. We went to Marshall and then Marshall Annex across the street, and then we got bused to Star King. And then for junior high, we went to 1 year. We both went to Everett. Then they bused us the following year to Francisco, and then we came back and we went to Poly first for Mission High, but we ended up finishing out back over here at Mission the last year. Yeah.
Okay.
It's similar to Lorenzo because he younger by a year and a half, yes, but so basically started at right where he was saying at Marshall Annex, and then Marshall across the street on Mission, and then from there to Star King, which was up in the Patrol Hill district, and from thereafter Everett was pretty much school, and then after, like what he said, they started integrating people to different schools, and we ended up falling into Francisco High middle school, and did a couple of years there right after, and then
From there to high school,
and then went to Mission from there. But we caught the tail end of the one that Amparo was at, the tail end of that, and then the next year we ended up over here on Mission
At Mission.
18th Street, which is pretty much that was what it was.
Too, which is up on now it's day school up by on Eureka.
Yeah.
18th and Eureka.
Okay.
Yeah, Douglas. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
I remember
I think
Douglas,
that was like
but I didn't go
first
there.
grade through third.
I remember her going.
Well, you're all famous in my book, but did any of you go to school with any known? Because I feel like a lot of famous people went to Mission High. Did any of you go to school with any of them?
Santana?
I was gonna say there must be some Santana overlap here.
He
in
went
the
to
same
Mission
one.
High.
He's older.
Yeah, that was your era, I
He's
think.
older than.
Oh, really?
He's older.
Okay, I thought you
He's
might have
older.
caught that tail end
Okay.
right there, maybe on it. Yeah. Oh,
That's
God.
okay. Okay, well, I think Amparo, you were gonna tell us some stories of over the years, anything that stands out for this restaurant, and or your parents and their lives, and yeah.
Oh, the thing I was going to say, yes. I was talking about how in Mexico Lindo, my dad, he was just an entrepreneur in this big way, and he had these big ideas of how to make money even when the restaurant couldn't, when things were slow or different things were happening. And like he brought in the pinball machines. Well, when we came over here, pinball machines,
Came here?
Pinball machines, yes, came over here.
Where?
We're right in the
And
corner, right there.
Up in the front?
Right
were
here,
in the
right here
corner.
in
this
this
corner.
In the corner.
Yeah.
And back then...
That's why you put that
and-
wall up.
Yeah, and not only that, but there was enough
So then
room
there's
over
fat
here.
customers on the other side.
There was enough room over here. Like this area wasn't here; it was open. But he also put in a pool table.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I love
so it was
it.
pinball machines and a pool table. So we all got to play pool and got to get really good at pool.
Yeah.
And have
So many
little
different
kids
ways to have
tournament.
fun
Right.
and eat delicious food.
And work and work too.
And
work too. So some of the customers from over there ended up coming over here during the day to play pinball machines. The other thing that happened was that we were growing up here.
Sure.
We were growing up here. We were adolescents here and all of that. And like my brothers were. They'll tell you this story. They were into fish tanks.
Right, fish tanks.
So there were even. They put up a fish tank over there in the corner.
55-gallon tank.
Wow.
You want to talk about the fish tank?
Yeah, so we got into, I don't know, it just happened that me and Lorenzo and my cousin Richie and a friend of ours, Roy, we just took upon one day. We went to this like a aquarium or like a fish store up in Brisbane, and then we just got our attention into looking at these beautiful fish in the tank, red devils, Madaguinzas. I go, they're so beautiful. And all of a sudden, everyone just started like, whoa. They started out with the little tank, And we all started buying tanks at our home and then billing them. And then next thing you go, I'm going to bring one for the restaurant, a 55-gallon. Yeah, and people loved it. They would sit there, see these nice, beautiful, like orange and kind of different color fish and beauty and all that. My dad goes, wow.
It was right there in the window on the
Right
street?
there.
In the window.
In the window, yeah. It wasn't in the window. It was beautiful.
What era was this, roughly?
Oh, my God. That had to be...
80s?
80s. Oh, yeah, definitely the 80s. Early 80s.
Early 80s, you want to say? I want to say going right into the 80s.
Yeah.
Going into it. I don't think it was early. I think it was finishing the late 70s, right at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got into that, and it was great. I think it was beautiful, but later on we had to kind of,
Well, they were different kind of fish, and they were always putting different kind of fish in there,
Right,
and like
different.
the cleaners. There were the cleaner fishes and
the ones that go around. But it was, we decorated really well. Customers loved it.
Yeah.
But
So the restaurant was very, very much like that. Like it had a fish tank, it had the pinball machines, it had the pool table, it had plants everywhere. You know, my dad has always been one. You know, if he sees a little plant outside or it's dying, he'll pick it up and he'll come in and like put it in a pot, and there's another plant.
Yeah.
You know? And there's another plant, and so it was full of plants.
I love
just
that.
everywhere.
It was like a little oasis in the corner.
Right?
A fish tank and a little plants.
Plants everywhere. Plants everywhere. And then, we're growing,
Sure.
right? We're growing up. And I being one of the oldest, I ended up getting married really early. I was 16 when I got married.
Okay.
I was 17 when I had my daughter, you
Okay.
know. And then I got a divorce, by 19, and so I'm back here. And these guys are finishing school, and they're working here. They're helping my dad and whatnot. And I get a job, at an insurance company. So I'm working over there, and I'm coming back, and now I have a typewriter over there, and I have all this access to, so I'm kind of typing up a menu, whereas before, the menu was, I think we were writing it.
By hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so things were evolving in that way. And my mom was still cooking here. I was helping her. My older sister was helping her a little bit.
Oh, so she did originally help out.
Yeah, a little bit there. And these guys were at the bar and everything. And Pattye was also playing around with retail and also kind of here. Oh, and these guys got into cars.
Oh, yeah, muscle cars.
They got into
Drag
cars.
racing.
Yes.
And did a little illegal drag racing.
So they bought
on
a car.
weekends.
They bought a car, right, Lorenzo?
No, we built it.
Oh,
We
nice.
built it.
So, right, so they got into cars. So they were out, so whenever they went out racing, I would come and help,
Yes.
I would come and help, and or my sister would go with them, my older sister. Everybody would go out racing with them, and, somebody had to stay back to hold down the fort. But, anywho, as things evolved, what else? Do you want to add anything in there?
Well, can I
menu
ask?
started changing.
Oh, sorry. The menu started. Can you?
So the menu started changing a little bit too, and I think that more, it wasn't just the people that were from that town and people that knew my dad and people, it was people that were moving into the neighborhood. It was expanding a little bit. It was cleaning up a little bit. It wasn't as I don't want to say trashy, but it was in that era,
It wasn't what it used to be.
It wasn't what it used to be. It
The
was
neighborhood was
changing.
changing also. Yeah.
And so was our menu. I remember her bringing in fried chicken and French fries
Oh.
and milkshakes.
We had that at Mexico Lindo, actually.
Milkshakes.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they kept them away from me.
Yeah.
We had them, the milkshakes. They used to make them over there, and they used to put a little shot of brandy in it, too. An egg, remember? An egg and brandy.
The thing was in the morning. It's like a good
Protein
breakfast
shake.
protein in the morning. The older Latin men
Yeah.
put an egg in there, a
Raw
raw
egg,
egg,
yes.
and brandy in there, and they drank that in the morning and said that was their protein.
Yeah.
I kind of remember having that for breakfast ourselves when we were running late.
At home.
Only ours was wine.
Yes.
Oh.
A little thing of wine with an egg yolk.
Wow.
You
Okay.
have to swallow it.
Yeah.
Manischewitz.
Oh, yeah.
It's Manischewitz
Yeah,
wine.
Manischewitz wine.
And we didn't have that. It was just salt and lemon.
Which reminds me, one of the things, being an immigrant family too, when we were growing up, like my mom, people would eat pancakes, and my mom didn't know pancakes or anything like that. She would make she would make bread, okay? Bread, she would toast bread, lunch bread, white lunch bread, with mayonnaise, and she'd make a stack of those.
Sounds gross.
A stack of those, right? And everybody would line up and eat them.
Yeah.
With milk, chocolate milk.
Nestle's Quick.
Nestle's Quick
Nestle's
chocolate
Quick
milk.
chocolate
Those were our
milk.
pancakes.
And toast with mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Toast with mayonnaise.
I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge.
Kind of like butter.
It was a
Nestle's
time.
Quick.
Because in Mexico they have those. They have the toast with the crema,
With the
Yeah.
cream.
and mayonnaise kind of became the crema.
That was their cream here.
Yeah.
But her favorites
Early on.
was, it was amazing. She would make fresh flour tortillas. And just the fact she'll make her dough and all that, and she'll put the little balls up all on top of the table there, then start preparing them and all that. And as they were coming out, me and Lorenzo were fans of that. Not talking about 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think in the summer we all got together and we
Yeah.
all just waited. We were taking them as she was coming out.
She was coming out, and we'll put some refined beans on them
in the summer just
and
taking
roll them. And I'm
She
telling you,
couldn't
you
make
just
them
couldn't
fast
stop.
Little burritos.
You couldn't stop eating them. I mean, you were
Yeah.
like, oh my God, you just kept going. I'll take another one, you know what I mean? And those little flaps would go down, and finally when you filled up, oh, okay.
So here's another little history bit for you, but back to Mexico Lindo over there, and that's where she made the tortillas. Back then, I don't think that there were flour tortillas, okay?
Not as common, yeah.
No, so she would make them, and she could. It was impossible for her to make them every day because we would just, and roll
kill
around.
It sounded like-
We'd probably
It
roll
would
around.
last.
But over there at Mexico Lindo, I don't know if you guys know El Faro in the corner.
Sure.
El Faro. Okay. Well, he was kind of in business at the same time that Mexico Lindo was happening, and every time we went across the street from El Faro, there was a store called Johnny's.
Oh, yeah,
Okay?
Johnny's.
Johnny's,
Yeah.
remember Johnny's?
Yeah.
And every time we went to Johnny's, El Faro, he would stop us and he would tell us, like, what'd you get over there? What'd you get over there? Because he had to, bring it over here so that we
Yeah.
wouldn't go over there, right? So we could get it over here.
Wow.
But
I love that.
the neat thing about
Corner stores.
about El Faro, we had the fire department in the front. Also,
Right.
remember they were all these guys there working. So he started making poor boys. He started
Oh, yeah,
making
yeah,
sandwiches.
poor boys,
Like
yeah.
that was like the original poor boy. And I want to say that that's kind of like I think it was the original burrito too.
That's what they claim, right?
Okay,
El
because he
Faro,
did.
yeah.
He did.
He would make
was-
some killer. He was
Yeah.
just like he was another one.
Yeah,
you
he
know
was
that he was
amazing.
just
Yeah.
kind of And the fire department, they needed lunch.
What's better
and
for
so
lunch
they
than
go
a
over
burrito?
there,
yeah.
right?
The
And
poor
well,
boy,
I
that's
need
where
it
it came
now,
from,
you know.
right there.
So the burrito. So he wrapped it up
Amparo.
and gave it to them.
And the idea came from po' boy, you're saying?
That came from
Of burritos.
El Faro, and he would make poor boys, sandwiches.
Okay.
And we would go and buy. My mom would give us sometimes, because we wouldn't
Love that
open until
story.
the afternoon, so we'd get on summer
Yeah,
or
but
what have you.
I used to get the poor boy all the
She'd
time.
give us money, and we'd run over there, and we'd like
Their
buy these
sandwiches
sandwiches
are
and come back
good.
and share them.
Really
Sit at the
good.
counter. She had us all the cousins and everybody sit at the counter and
Wow.
just eating these sandwiches.
They're poor boys that you think about now. Usually they have shrimp or they have, crab or
Yeah,
something.
like New Orleans style.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's where the name came from, but that's what was on the menu. But it was a sandwich that had every kind of meat. So it had ham, it had bologna, it had turkey, and had the two different kinds of cheeses. And it was that was what they considered. I don't know if they considered a poor man's sandwich, and it was a big roll. You
a
can
hoagie
share
roll.
3 people easily.
Yeah.
But it had everything. It had the ham, it had the turkey, it had bologna, it had the salami, it had everything.
All of the above.
That was their poor boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they made sandwiches to carnitas. They made carnitas there, and they made those sandwiches, and those
incredible.
those were delicious. Anyway,
Folsom Street, yeah.
so I just needed to add that little bit about that place over there.
You had mentioned earlier other immigrants from this town in Jalisco landing here and some other places. Do you want to
Yeah.
mention any of those other places?
Well, when we were over there and we were growing up again, there was a club Ayucla, like a community club Ayucla
Okay.
of people who from Ayucla that were in this club, and they used to meet. I don't know, every month they used to have parties and things like that. I remember there was a party on Cesar Chavez, somebody's house at Cesar Chavez, and we would all go. I don't know that we knew growing up that these people were also had businesses, But once we were here, like we did find out La Rondalla.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of La Rondalla?
I lived down the
Okay.
street
Well,
when I lived
from,
over in the Mission.
The wife was from Mayucla.
The same.
And what's it? The
That makes so much sense. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
10th and Howard.
Yeah, Don Ramon.
Don Ramon's. They
Has
were
Don
from
Ramon.
Mayutla.
Okay.
Yes.
Even La Cumbre, I have
Yeah.
to say, had some connection.
You're
with
just
Ayucla.
listing all my favorite Mexican restaurants in San Francisco.
And
we
then
know
there
them.
was
And it makes sense.
Yeah, we
it
knew
all
them.
makes
We know
sense.
them.
Then there
very
was
well.
another place on 24th Street.
Yeah, I can't remember the name
Well,
of it.
Guadalajara de Noche was there, but then there was another one. La Posta.
Posta.
La Posta.
Not-
was-
not there
was from
anymore.
Ayucla.
No, yeah.
No.
They were wonderful.
So those are, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are bigger ones that were from Ayucla, but there were
Right.
also like these little, restaurants that were from Ayucla. So then, okay, so we got pinball machines, we got fish tanks, we got a pool table, and then,
Moving forward.
yeah, moving forward, I think my dad always knew. Again, he's an entrepreneur. We're selling food, we're selling, beer. We had a beer and wine license, but at that point, he decided that he's always had his eye on a liquor license, and it just so happened that
How? Vic's
next door, he was leaving, he was retiring, so he was selling his liquor license.
Okay.
So my dad got it,
That's what happened. He
That's what
bought it and moved it over here.
moved it over here.
Okay.
Yes, and it came with.
With us learning, and with Mario Leon, which was the Southern Wines sales representative, that was our sales rep that kind of helped us out with the liquor, setting up the bar and everything, and then he got me to Lorenzo basically to.
He actually got us all on making the market.
Yeah.
He worked with the liquor guy.
Right.
He
The guy from
worked
Southern?
and
Southern Wines, yeah.
Oh, wow,
Mario
okay.
Leon,
And he
great
actually
person.
taught us. William did,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So with the liquor license came
Yeah.
Mario,
Yeah.
Okay.
and he just lived here. Okay, he
so-
lived here, and he and Willy just
Right.
crunched them out.
So the first
crunched them out.
margarita was
Yes.
basically.
And came up with a
I would
master.
have to, get some patrons, friends. I go, hey, sit at the bar. I have to start learning how to make a margarita, right? I go. So I did different recipes. I go, tell me which one you like better. And we're little by little. Well, we got drunk after for that and all. And Lorenzo goes, that'll work.
Yeah. But he's the one that taught us that, how to make them after that. Yeah.
Wow. Do you know about when that happened? This liquor license came over and you learned to make
We had
margaritas?
that book that Mario signed. What was that? Right about the.
I want to say probably 81.
80, no, around, it was 79, 80, right around there.
That probably changed the place a little bit, right?
Oh, it did definitely changed.
Yeah.
They took off. The
You got
margaritas
that
took
going.
off,
And
and
it just started getting really crazy.
yeah,
Busy,
I don't.
And then we're all like, whoa. So now we had to figure out a plan.
Well,
and,
that's
we got-
so. Then the fish tank went.
went out.
That was one of the
First
things to
casualty
go.
of the liquor license
Yes,
is the fish
yes.
tank.
Well, and because we started getting busier, and,
Yeah.
and things were changing. I think in the neighborhood
Sure.
as well, and so the fish tank went, and then we dealt with that, and then the pool table had to go, because it was
Right.
taking up so much space, and nobody was playing.
We needed,
Mm.
we needed
Nobody
tables.
was playing. We needed tables.
Because
That's what
people were
needed.
just, we had lines out there.
Yeah.
Lines. And I would have to close the gate sometimes. I said, I'll be with you in about half an hour, 20 minutes. I go, because we're overloaded.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we couldn't figure, oh my God. I go, okay, it's time to clean up everything. Kitchen all prep back up and all that, and stock the bar back up. We got to go. And then this is when we had Tirso,
Yeah.
Miguel, Tim Colts, and remember Lorenzo, all that? It was
Well,
incredible.
now we're getting to the point of
call in all the hands on deck.
auxiliary hands.
Hands on deck.
Yeah.
This is starting to coincide with my own time, and I feel like, especially back in the day, 25 years ago, and since then, it's like it's not uncommon to come to Puerto and get the little slip of paper.
Yeah. You're right.
I should have held on to all the slips of
Oh,
paper.
my
No, but I think one of just to inject one of my own, not a specific story, but a sentiment, I guess, is that I had a group of friends. We would come here all the time. We all lived in the neighborhood, and for whatever reason, Tirso liked us.
Tirso's
And from that
amazing.
moment, we were like, we didn't know what we did, but we were like, we have it made at that one awesome restaurant. So just
Awesome.
thank you, Tirso.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He's
He's the best. I also, oddly, through a couple different other avenues, became friends with Debbie.
Debbie Horn.
Debbie Horn, who
We're gonna
was
bring her
a
up
server
right after
here.
that. Yeah,
Yes,
Debbie.
she was wonderful
Oh, my
here,
God.
and she's wonderful down at Royal Cuckoo. So I think that also just
Hospitality.
speaks to what it's like to not be in your family, but to work here. I mean,
She
she
felt like a
speaks
family
fondly of you
member.
all. She speaks fondly of you all to
I've
this day.
always felt her like a family member.
Yeah.
Because she was really warm. My mom, my dad were really, oh my God, she's so lovely.
Yeah.
God, what a great person, heart,
Yeah.
and all that. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
we were fortunate. I mean, we've had many employees that
Sure.
we've been fortunate to have, and Debbie is definitely one
Oh,
of the
definitely.
stars.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
it was one of our
the stars, and,
like a
and
family
became
member to
family.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and worked with us for many years, and
I'll just give Royal Cuckoo a shout out too, because I love that place. My wife and I
love
had our
it.
cocktail hour there for our wedding. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So, Amparo, one thing that I've always loved about Puerto coming here over the years is the art on the walls. Not just the fact that it's there, it's always good art. It's always feels like it's local, it's thematic, but then it changes almost like an art gallery. Can you tell us about art in Puerto?
Yeah. Oh my God, I gotta say that that's been one of our growing things. Also, as we grow, as my siblings and I have grown, we've also grown into that as well. And you heard everything else that we talked about, the fish tanks and all of that stuff.
Pinball and pool and
right. So what was up on the wall back then were, we didn't know what to do. So they were basically beer lights. We had those
Like
beer
neon?
Neon lights.
Neon
Some
lights,
of those
okay.
beer
Yeah.
neon lights. And actually, we had them up here probably last year. We just probably took
Like
them off.
back as art.
Yes,
Oh, I love that.
yes.
I love that.
So we had a bunch of those, and they'd change in and out.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's one still up there.
Okay.
That's right. And then I thought, you know what? We need to start, instead of showing off beer, let's start showing off, something of us, of us. So I ended up going down to all these different places to find posters, just posters, Mexican posters, Zapata, Pancho Villa, and all of those as we were learning about them and whatnot. So then we got a bunch of those and we framed those and put those up.
Okay.
And that became Pancho Villa's table, and that was Zapata's table, and and
So almost like an homage to the
yes,
homeland.
Yes,
Okay, I love
yes.
that.
And then, things are happening in the mission, and we're part of it, and whatnot. And Carnaval is always a big deal for us, and it's a big event for us. We've been part of it. Our children have been part of it, and all of that. So I thought, you know what? We need to bring Carnaval in here.
love
How do we
that.
bring Carnaval in here? And then we had a friend of ours who was also a customer, who was a regular here. And he was also a photographer.
Okay.
So I talked to him. I said, how do we do this? How do we bring Carnaval in here? And I know that I've run into him, through Carnaval, taking pictures.
Sure,
and I said,
sure.
I know you have pictures. So
I know what's in your camera.
yes.
Yes.
So what do you think? Can we just print some and make them big and put them up? So we did.
Oh, excellent.
He and I did, and it was wonderful, and it was
If you had to
amazing.
guess when about did this, especially this Carnival show,
That particular Carnaval. I don't
20
know.
years ago?
20 years ago.
Okay, let's say 20 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. 15 years ago, something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20 years ago.
A good long while.
It's been a while.
For any
It's-
gallery, let alone gallery restaurant.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
So after we did that, we thought, now what? We can't, we got to kind of shift it out and keep putting it up. So then I ran another customer. So there's all these customers that we have. They're
I was just gonna say,
whatnot.
being where you are,
Right?
this is where artists come to eat.
Yeah. So another customer, Bird Levy,
Okay.
who's she's also amazing and wonderful and brilliant and connected to the art community as well. And she suggested that she wanted to do a Frida show here.
Okay.
A Frida for her birthday, to celebrate her birthday. July.
Amazing,
In the summer.
amazing.
So yes, let's do that. So then we did one that year.
Where all the art was Frida? Or
all the art is Frida, and
Okay.
she went out and collected all the artists, all the artists,
Yeah.
community artists, and up from California, some
Yeah.
are from San Francisco, San Jose, different places.
Amazing.
So that became like a yearly event.
Oh, okay.
That became like a yearly event. We would do Frida.
Still happening?
It's still happening.
Amazing.
We just had a Frida
Okay.
this
Oh,
year,
I
and
missed
that
it.
was amazing.
There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
that was amazing. Francisco Franco led it with a bird. So we had that, and those we have every year, almost every year. So
Okay.
two of our kind of base art shows are Frida's birthday in the summer, and then Day of the Dead.
Yes.
Day of the Dead. Those are the big ones. And then Calixto. I don't know if you know Calixto Robles. He's another artist in the
Okay.
Mission.
Okay.
And he's from Oaxaca. But he did a lot of art here at the Mission Cultural Center.
Okay.
Does screen printing.
Oh, nice.
But he's also got these big, magnificent jaguars,
Oh.
And he's done a lot of art for Santana, even.
Heard of him.
Screen printing on his, right? Shirts and stuff.
Amazing.
So he wanted to do something here, so I
Yes.
connected with him, and we did, So we put up a show for him. Alejandra, his wife, as well. We put up shows for her, shows for both of them, for different events, different things. We've done different themes. We've done women. During Women's Month or around then, we'll do a show on women. Liberation of women. We've done with Calixto. We did a Zapata with Zapata turned 100.
Okay.
We did that. We've done various things. Fernando Martí, I did a show with him where he does screen printing and has a lot of posters. Resistance, is
Yeah.
a big thing as well. Climate, we've done, put out the word for climate, and
Oh,
people put together things, and they're amazing things that they put together, and we just bring them in and do a 3-month show, a 2-month show.
Uh-huh.
But one of the things that we also do with these shows is that, we get all these amazing artists, and then we're a restaurant, right? We're a restaurant, but we do an art opening.
I was going to ask about that.
We do an art
So
opening.
you do treat it like
Yes,
a gallery would.
Yes.
With
Oh my God.
delicious food and drinks.
Yes, and that's so much fun.
It's already catered.
It's already catered, right? We're right here.
Yeah.
We're right here.
I love that.
And that's amazing. And we always do a ceremony
Mm-hmm.
also, just giving thanks to our Creator and Mother Earth for allowing us to be here and this space and welcoming people in, and and that's amazing. And we have different people come in and lead those also in the community, and and those are really huge, and I'm really grateful and thankful for everyone who's done those as well. Conchita Saucedo just recently did the Day of the Dead. But so that's the thing with the art.
I love it.
I have to say that it's magnificent. We take out, we have a couple of tables in the middle here, so we usually take those out so that people can walk around freely, right? And so we open it up like an art gallery, actually, and it's just amazing to have people move around in this space that way. And for different events, we'll have different things. Like for Frida, we'll have. Sometimes we've had face painting.
Oh, fun.
We've had contests. People come in dressed as Frida.
Oh, how fun.
And Diego.
I want to see photos of that.
Yes.
That sounds fun.
We've had different people come in and speak of her history and everything. These are people from the Mission and people, that just have her spirit and her heart.
And she spent a little bit of time in San Francisco.
She did.
Right?
She did.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Diego.
Yeah, exactly. So, all of that, it's been amazing. We had for Day of the Dead, we've had sugar skulls.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can come in and create your, paint up
that's
and
wonderful.
color up your sugar skulls. My friend Michelle used to do those. She was a sugar skull lady in the Mission, and just different things like that we do. We'll have a cake for Frida's birthday.
Right.
Celebrate Frida's birthday and sing happy birthday to her. Yeah.
I noticed that the art right now says NFS not for sale, right?
Some of it is.
Is sometimes okay.
Some of it
so
is.
That's
So
what I was gonna say. Is some of the art is like at a gallery. Some
Right.
of it is for sale.
Right.
So you can come in and get a delicious dinner and walk away with a piece of art.
Well, I'll have to tell you, you can't just take it from
Take
the
it.
wall.
Right. But you.
But yeah, I mean, you can, you can call whoever's curating the art. In this case, right now it's Calixto, so you can call and be in touch with him and arrange with him when you can come and pick it up. Because otherwise we'd end up with an empty space there, and that would be
we can't do that.
No.
Yeah. Can't do that.
No. But yeah, this is a space where artists, can bring their art and we can showcase it and they can possibly make some money with it too.
I love that.
And then in some cases, like the not for sale, I mean, that's their prerogative. They get
Correct.
to decide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Is there ever a gap between shows, or is it pretty much one comes down and maybe? Yeah. How does that work?
yeah. Usually the gap is no more than a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Around this time, around the holidays, it might be 2 weeks just
Yeah, it
because we're
slows
trying to
down
figure out,
Sure.
Calixto coming back or what the next thing is.
Right.
But no, and usually I'll keep something up until we're ready to, put up the next one the following week.
I was gonna say, because I don't think I've ever seen no art on the
No,
walls.
no,
So
no.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
love
I'm really
that.
pleased.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased and proud of all the artists and all the curators and all our relationships, that we've had with people. I have to say that one time for Frida, and this one was curated by Bird Levy, and we had, I don't know, there was some amazing art. It's always amazing art, right?
Yeah.
But I'll have to tell you that we had a line.
Oh wow.
I mean, the place was packed.
Yeah.
Frida's a big event here in San Francisco, okay, in July. And we had a line out the door down the block,
Wow. Yeah.
okay? And we needed somebody to kind of okay, no, one person out, one person in,
Yes.
kind of thing. And that was amazing.
Like a toll booth.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
The restaurant really changed my life a lot. It brought so much to me. It brought so much that I want to give thanks to my mom and dad for what they gave me and what now I grew out of it. For one, I got to meet my wife, which is originally from a coworker here that asked me about, I'm looking, this gal wants, looking for a job because I know we need people. I go, oh, well, yeah, tell her, yeah, we need them. So I remember when I first met her, and it's like, all right, wow, it just struck on me. And I talked to my mom. I go, Mom, I got these feelings. She goes, you're in love. And I talked to Lorenzo about that, and he would help me out. Yeah, Willy. Long story short, but just to make it quick, it's just what it brought for me. It brought for me a lot. A marriage and 3 children, and
Amazing.
I'm so proud of it and happy that it was possible through my mom and dad that made it possible.
Awesome.
So that's
I love
one
that.
I want to throw in there really quick.
Thank you, Willy. Thank you. Do you have any final remarks, Lorenzo?
You probably got me in the moment that I can't. My mind is stuck. No, I mean I'm grateful for everything. Seeing my mom and dad work so hard, I thank them every day. Every day I wake up, I still thank them.
Yeah.
They were hard workers. They showed me how to work. All I can say is we're trying to do the best, keep their legacy going. We're doing what we can, and they taught us never. They kept us out of trouble by giving us that hard hand to work always as young. One of my dad's things was, if I have you working here, you're not going to go get into trouble.
Yep.
And that was well put,
Again, smart
Yeah.
and just practical.
Yeah, very true.
Some work
So
out of
I appreciate that very much.
sure.
I have this one thing I want to say that I always told a lot of friends when I was growing up. Oh, you watch cartoons did you watch cartoons on Saturday, on the weekend, and on Sunday? I go, nope. Because my dad always had us up at 5 a.m, cleaning the restaurant, refilling beer, and after we'd done that, we had to work a couple more hours. So I was always telling them, I've never watched
And
those
someone
cartoons.
had to eat those flour tortillas too.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
So like I say, I'm grateful for everything, and my brothers and my sisters, and actually all my cousins that I have. That we all somehow are connected.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
Yeah. You're welcome.
You're up, Pattye.
I have just fond memories, obviously, of growing up here and watching my mom and dad putting it through. I mean, obviously, once this is probably going forward, but once this was kind of established, my father purchased another building, another business, which became Puerto 2, was kind of like the younger sister of this, So he moved there, but my mom stayed here. And that became his place where he worked. And we all stayed, obviously, working here. But we saw the hard work that, we were a family. We stayed together, family. And though we saw each other all the time and we probably got on each other's nerves, some of us went out to do other things and then we came back. And that just shows a lot that my mom and my dad kind of instilled in us, you know what I mean? The family is family.
Yeah.
And I think they're the reason that we're still here.
Yeah.
We all still live in the city.
Yeah.
We all really close. We're like,
that's a magnetism.
Right.
They did something right.
Yeah, and we got to meet beautiful people along the years, that have become part of our family.
Right. Awesome. Thank you.
Amparo? There's many, many more stories that we could tell and whatnot, but like everybody else, I'll say that my mom and my dad, they were one of a kind. Everybody else, all my other uncles, ended up retiring or going off to do something else. My dad was the one that stayed. He said, no, this is what you do. You have your own business. You try not to, you have your own business, and food is a good thing, and if you can add, this other stuff, then it makes it a little better too. And they did. They worked hard, and they taught us to work hard. Sometimes I would say that my dad's thing wasn't about they only sent us to school. And I truly believe this. They only sent us to school because there were truant officers out there at the time. I'm serious.
Otherwise, you'd be working here.
Otherwise, yeah, his education was work.
Right.
If you learn to work, you will have, what it takes to kind of make it out in the world, and everything else you will learn there. And so I'm really grateful for that. And I'm really grateful that I got to be in there close with him and got to see his mind in action, and learn so much from that. And what they did, what the four brothers did there in Mexico Lindo, I feel like we were able to kind of transcend that over here and say, okay, let's get together, let's when we did the transition from my dad and my mom to us, it was like that. Like, if they did that, there's so much more that we can do, with each other. And I think that's been this experiment of us doing this, and normal. Yeah, and normally people, people in business would think that, one person would go off and open up their own, and that's a good thing too. I'm not sort of right,
sure,
but ours has been about no. When people ask me like, what do you do? Well, I work with my family, and we do a restaurant.
That was Amparo Vigil, along with her siblings Pattye, Willy, and Lorenzo. Next week on the podcast, meet and get to know Ashley Graham, art director at the Fillmore. Episode 6 drops next Tuesday, wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Our contributing producer is Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 7th season, we have more than 220 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If possible, please, please, please rate and review the show. I want to know what you think. Follow us on Instagram and Threads at storiedsf, and reach out to us there or email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Be extra careful crossing the street. And keep being wacky, creative, and kind out there. See you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.
This podcast is a proud member of the BFF.FM podcast network. Learn more at podcast.bff.fm.
BFF.FM, best frequencies forever.